It's time for What's Up This Week.
Hi there! Welcome to another episode of What's Up This Week, your weekly dose of history, facts, and trivia from University Branch Library. This week, we're wishing a happy birthday to notable American author F. Scott Fitzgerald. Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald was born on September 24, 1896 in St. Paul, Minnesota. Fitzgerald is best known for writing about the extravagance and excess of the 1920s. In fact, he coined the phrase Jazz Age to describe this period in U.S. history when jazz music and jazz dance styles were quickly gaining popularity. Meanwhile, Prohibition led to organized crime and speakeasies. It was the Roaring Twenties indeed. Fitzgerald is considered to be one of the greatest American writers of the 20th century, though most of his acclaim came after his death in 1940. He is best known for his novel The Great Gatsby, in which a mysterious millionaire has an affair with his ex-lover, which ultimately ends in his demise. Here's an interesting fact. When The Great Gatsby was first published, it did not receive good reviews from the critics. In fact, one newspaper headline read, "Fitzgerald's latest a dud." It didn't become really popular as it is today for decades after his death, and now it is required reading for most American students. So how did Fitzgerald's works go from obscurity to being studied by many? He may have the military to thank for that. After the draft was reinstated in 1940, there were a lot of bored American soldiers around the world. An initiative was started to put books in the hands of those soldiers. The Armed Services editions of books were small enough to fit in a soldier's pocket. The Great Gatsby was one of them. It was an instant hit with the troops, and the rest is history. Want to brush up on your Fitzgerald novels? We've got them available for you to check out. Want to watch the movie? We've got the Robert Redford version and the Leonardo DiCaprio version. Want to learn more about Fitzgerald's life? Check out a biography. Happy birthday to F. Scott Fitzgerald. What have you got for us this week, James?
Okay, folks, so if you had to guess, what year would you say the company Nintendo was founded? Let's do a little multiple choice, shall we? Would you say it was founded in A, 1979, B, 1989, C, 1889, or D, none of the above? If you picked C, 1889, then you are right. Indeed, the company, originally called Nintendo Koppai, was founded on September 23, 1889 in Kyoto, Japan by a man named Fushiguro Yamauchi, an artist and entrepreneur. Initially, the company only manufactured and sold playing cards. You see, for numerous years, Japan actually banned playing cards because it was believed they encouraged gambling. Eventually, though, homemade card games were made, and in the 19th century, the new card game Hanafuda was invented. These cards were different though because they featured images instead of numbers, which prevented some gambling. But it was this new playing cards company that helped to make Hanafuda so prevalent throughout Japan. 100 years later, though, in 1989, the company, now simply called Nintendo, after numerous changes in leadership and technology, and a few failed ventures here and there, released the first Game Boy, an 8-bit handheld video game console. It was a huge hit. It cemented the company's success in the United States and really across the globe. The company Nintendo also popularized the characters from the Super Mario Bros. And Pokémon games. All right, Megan, I'll send it back to you. What weird thing do you have for the folks this week?
This week's weird thing is that September 22nd is Hobbit Day. J.R.R. Tolkien is the author of the high fantasy novels The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. On Hobbit Day, we commemorate Tolkien and the birthdays of Frodo and Bilbo Baggins, two notable hobbits from his novels. In case you didn't know, hobbits are a fictional, human-like race in Tolkien's novels. They're about half the height of a human, and they live in underground houses built into the sides of hills. They also live life barefooted, which sounds pretty nice to me. Bilbo Baggins is the protagonist in The Hobbit. And Frodo is one of the main characters in The Lord of the Rings, which is The Hobbit's sequel. Tolkien has said that writing The Hobbit came about very suddenly while grading his students' essay exams. On a blank piece of paper, he wrote the words, "In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit." He wrote The Hobbit for his own children and was surprised at its success with both adult and child readers when it was published. According to the American Tolkien Society, the best way to celebrate Hobbit Day is with a variety of fun activities: feasts, games, costume events, fireworks, and more. It is said to be the ideal holiday because it incorporates all of the fun traditions from other holidays. So if you're a fan of Tolkien's novels, this is the holiday for you. Never read a Tolkien novel? What are you waiting for? Place a hold from our catalog today. Back to you, James.
All right, folks, so that does wrap it up for this week's episode of What's Up This Week. Join us next week for more thrilling information from your local library.